Kia ora, e te whānau nau mai, haere mai. Welcome to night 2 of Kapu Tī with WE. And tonight I'm interviewing Christian Prescott, who is a 23-year-old Tongan young man, Mount Albert Grammar young old boy, which I've told him I won't hold against him because if you know me, you know that my kids went to St. Peter's College. But he's from Sneaker Clean. He started Sneaker Clean 3 years ago. Incredibly inspiring young man, and I'm really excited to bring him to you today. So, kia ora, Christian. How you going?
I'm going well, thank you. Yourself?
Good. Thanks. Thank you so much for agreeing to chat with me tonight over cup of tea. I noticed you don't have your cup of tea, but I have my cup of tea because I carry around my Boss Lady cup. I have another one that says Boss Lady in Māori too.
But yeah, I'm more of a cold beverage kind of guy, but yeah.
You might want one after this. So tell me, Christian, you started Sneaker Clean 3 years ago, 19 years of age. So why is a 19-year-old young boy straight out of college starting a new business? What's going through your head, and why did you decide to get into that?
Well, so at the time, I decided just before I left school that I wasn't going to go to uni. So I wanted to do a plumbing apprenticeship as a career, but while I was looking for, it took me a while to find a plumbing apprenticeship or a company to take me on. And during that time, I was working full time at Timberland Sylvia Park. And just during that time, I always felt like doing more. Like I was working 40 hours a week, but I always felt like there was more in it for me. And yeah, just a lot of customers came in asking for a sneaker cleaning service. A lot of customers from overseas as well that said that they have that already in their home country that they can't find one here in New Zealand. So I guess like how we spoke before, I think I was just a bit naive. I thought, oh, I could do that. I could do that if no one else is doing it. So put about two weeks worth of work in it, studying and like figuring out how I was going to run a business. I didn't take business stuff in high school, so I guess it was more so just a challenge. But at the same time, I was looking for my plumbing apprenticeship, and then I found a plumbing apprenticeship, and I had already started this, so there was there was no going back. I've got to finish what I started or achieve the goals I already set out. So yeah, past 3 years, I'm working at Timberland Silver Park, completing my plumbing apprenticeship and doing this on the side as well. So yeah, it's kept me busy the last 3 years. Yeah.
So now tell me, I hear that you were working during the day and cleaning shoes at night.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely kept me busy. I'm usually up about 5 or 5:30. Gonna work. We work some big hours. I mean, especially last year, I was we're on a pretty big commercial site with just two of us, so it forced us to work some big hours. And coming back home after that, I'll definitely have to do what I have here. I've already agreed to people that I'll clean their shoes, so I guess trying to juggle a business as well. And then on Sundays I'll be working at Timberland. So it was 7 days a week, and I was doing 70 hours will be the minimal hours I'll be working during the week. On a high end, we will be hitting 100 plus hours a week. But no, yeah, it's like I said, I've worked. It's been about 3.5 years now. Like I said before, I've been working for about 3.5 years of almost like no results. Like Sneaker Clean wasn't really doing that well. My plumbing apprenticeship was going well because I was doing it every day. In terms of business, Sneaker Clean, it was like on and off. Just because I didn't have the time to do it, but like I've just stuck at it for like 3.5 years, and then I've only kind of started seeing results now, as of recent, like within the last 4 months, really.
That takes some incredible grit to stick at something for 3 years and to be doing 70 hours a week in a full-time job plus a part-time job and a business. Why do that? Like, why would you put yourself through that? What's motivating you?
I guess what I've always believed in when I started this was gonna work out. But even more than that, like I'm second generation here in New Zealand. My parents and my aunties, sorry, my parents, my aunties and uncles have all worked really really hard to allow me to have the opportunity to start something like this. So I think I'm really really privileged to be in the position I'm in. Um, Obviously I've worked hard and stuff during high school. I've loved Mangere the whole time, but I was going to mag, so I was waking about 5:30 just to get to school. So I was catching 2 trains just to get into school from Mangere. So that was at 13 years old as well. So I was year 9, 13 doing that. I'm 23 now, so if like in terms of work ethic wise, I've been doing it for about 10 years now, and I'm only 22. So before I was waking up like at 5:30 just to get to school, but then I have training. Sometimes I train in the morning, so I got to get up earlier. Training after school, get home, you still have to work. So you're going to sleep about 10:30, and I was only 13 years old, putting in that amount of work. But I guess the thing that's changed now, I'm getting paid for it. And that's probably the biggest thing, is that I'm getting paid for my time now. But in terms of work ethic, it's been put in from when I started, and that's all for my family. And because I understand I'm privileged to be in the position I'm in, I understand that I have to. I don't know, like I've always understood that saying thank you and stuff is obviously polite, but it's almost hollow at the same time. If I actually want to show my parents or show my aunties, uncle, they've worked really really hard to allow me opportunities to go to the schools I've had. The sacrifices my parents made just for me to get to school was massive. I could have gone to a school down the road that would have cost them nothing, travel wise, but they ended up paying 100 plus a month just for me to travel to get to school every month. So that was massive for me. I guess from a young age, I understood the sacrifices my whole family have made just for me to go to a good school. And in order for me to give that same energy back, or give that same aroha, that same love, that same mana they've put into me, the only way I could ever repay them is to work hard, or do whatever I do to the best of my ability.
That's cool.
So yeah, like my driving force is my family, and that's it. Like they've sacrificed so much for me to be able to do what I do. It is a privilege to start a business, and it's a privilege to collect sneakers. Like I said, I have worked really really hard. I'll work an extra 20 hours just so I can buy a pair of shoes that week.
So family and sneakers are the motivation.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like you can't be working all the time and then having like I think what kept that balance is having nice stuff, or having a nice. If I could work a whole month.
I think we've lost you. And now we're having technical difficulties. I'll just wait for Christian to come back. Anyway, while you're watching and we're waiting for Christian to get back online, if you have got any questions that you want me to ask him, pop them into the question box and I can definitely ask those questions for you. Let me just make sure it's not my internet connection, but I'm pretty sure it's his. Yeah. Okay, now we've lost him. Anyway, so Christian, when he jumps back in again, I'll get him to come back on. But yeah, like I said, if you've got any questions that you want me to ask Christian, then definitely do pop them in the comments box. And then as they come up, I'll ask him and we'll try and get him back on. But as we were sort of talking about before, so Christian, just to give you a bit of background, just recently there was a contest for Mr. Manaki through Manaki.io, and he was the winner of that. And really, really luckily, was the winner of $10,000, which was awesome to go towards his business. Xero also jumped on board and gave him a year's worth of free Xero, and WE Accounting jumped on board too, and so we've given him a year's worth of accounting for free too. So and then obviously he's got Manaki around him, and Indigo have also jumped on board to help him to get his website up and running too. So I'm going to see if I can get in touch with him and see if he is jumping back on. Here we go. Here he is. Gotcha back.
I've had to ask my family to all
get off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
No, that's right. I was just saying about how you won Mr. Manaki, and you know, you got the $10,000 pack, the website, Xero, and you get me and Ali. You poor thing, you. We're just talking about that, and how you want to talk us through that actually quickly, like, because I must say, when we jumped on the Google, so we did a Zoom session, if anyone who didn't see it, and well, I don't know who else was in on it, but we were in on it, so we knew what was happening. We already knew that Christian had won, and Christian thought that he was going to be in a contest, and he was well, he wasn't a contest, but he thought that he was doing an interview. And a whole bunch of your friends and family jumped on this call and just talked about how incredible you were and how deserving you were of the money. How did that make you feel to hear all of this cool stuff that people were saying about you?
Yeah, it was quite overwhelming, to be honest. I think even before that, just seeing the number of entries, just the volume more, to see like everyone's testimonies as well. Going through I think I counted over 100 something, and the like solid testimonies that took up half my screen. You know, I actually saved every single one, because it means a lot to me. They're definitely overwhelming to see and to hear as well on the Zoom. I like you said, I actually thought I was on for an interview, and my understanding was that I was on with Pat alone. And I knew this whole prize and everything was up for grabs. So then I was like, I need to kill this interview. I need to do well. I need to speak well. I need to present myself well. So I think when I jumped on and I had everyone, I could see everyone's faces, and I was like, oh my God, there's so many people on this. Then I saw my friends, and like that gets you 10 times more nervous, because you know, like you're all right speaking in front of strangers, but then when you've got your friends and everything watching, you know, like that kind of like that kind of threw me off. But then like I just, once we got into it, we got going, so we're good.
Now, tell me a little bit about COVID. So I know that at the beginning of our first lockdown, you went through some pretty challenging times. So tell us about that, the challenges that you were facing, and then what you did, and how Sneaker Clean has kind of just blown up really over the last couple of months.
Yeah, well, like I said before, I was working really hard on Sneaker Clean, but I was almost kind of going nowhere. And then when COVID hit, it was quite a challenging time for me personally. A lot of we had family stuff that was happening as well. We had a few funerals and stuff before COVID as well, and I had actually lost my job. My boss didn't have enough work for me to return after the first lockdown. So, and then the subsidy financially, then like I had no source of income, and I understood that I could easily find a job somewhere else that will kind of get me by enough for me to get me through this period. But I understood that I didn't want to get stuck in that. And then for some reason, I never going back to finish my apprenticeship. So I wanted to make myself available to finish my apprenticeship, because I've only got about 6 months left. So I guess the only thing that kind of was falling back on was Sneaker Clean. And I think it was a real good time for me with all the adversity that I kind of fell back on my faith. And yeah, so fast forward 4 months from then, mentally and emotionally, I'm probably the best I've ever been. I'm
Awesome.
I'm performing at my peak at the moment. I'd like to think. Yeah, like we said before we went live, is if there's anything that I'm proud of, with everything that's happened so far and all the blessings I've had with all the exposure and the business doing well. If there's anything I'm proud of, it's probably more my mental space at the moment. I've got on real belief. My faith is strong. I believe I can do anything. I feel invincible at the moment. And I know if there is another challenge that will come my way, I'm almost get excited for it, because I know that at the other end of challenges are wins. So yeah, COVID's done well for business. Well, I had to work. I had no other source of income, so I had to work. This was the only thing that was going to carry me through. With everything else that was happening, there was no other option for me, no other way out of the financial burden and stuff we had. So this was the only thing that was going to work, and it has worked. And God's provided everything. So it's been an interesting time. Yes.
That's cool. And you've got a really big following on social media too. So how did you manage to go from 0 to having such a good such a big following? What have you been doing?
That's just all my family and friends. To be honest,
Friends.
yeah, well, yeah, family and obviously now we're getting a lot more exposure and everything. A lot of people are sharing it, but before then, I was just real close knit group of friends that bought into what I was doing. I guess when I first started, it was a bit iffy because like we're just starting out. But I guess the more content we started putting out, the more people started trusting in the work, and I guess a lot of my friends saw how hard I was working, and for it not to pop off, I don't know, they're just feeling sorry for me while they're sharing it, but.
So a lot of people working 70 hours a week. Let's share his stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends bought into what I was doing because they saw how hard I was working. And like I said, I was working really, really hard. Like for 3.5 years, I almost had no wins come out of it. I mean, I was trucking along with things. I was getting through it, but I don't know. I kind of kept the same energy every week. I was real keen. I got up and I was real keen to get the work in. But this is after 3.5 years of nothing happening. But it's an analogy. They say you work hard for 50 days and you stop on the 50th, but the 51st is the day you get all your blessings. So I guess it was just that same mentality that I was just going to keep chipping away at it. And I guess it's just my belief system as well. I've learned to put my faith in God. God can't fail. God is all good, all loving, and everything wonderful. So if I put my faith in God, then there's no doubt that this will happen. And just personally, I think I've just always been a bit arrogant about how I guess like I've always believed that this is going to happen. So you just when things are going bad, you just got to be a bit arrogant and say, "No, it's going to go well. It's going to work." So that's the belief system is massive. Like even now talking to you, like I've got all my goals written up here. I've got some pretty big goals that I have no right to be dreaming up because I've only got about $30 next to my name at the moment. But
every right to have goals. Every right.
Yeah, I've got big dreams, but like I've got no hesitation that'll come to fruition. So yeah, I think the belief system is massive. And like I said, mentally, I'm all ready to go. So that's probably something I'm most proud of. Yeah.
I mean, it could be a whole lot worse. You could have a whole bunch of goals and be sitting on your butt doing nothing. that would be worse. But the fact that you're actually willing to put in the hard work that it's going to take, and you have the belief that it's going to happen, then you're more likely to reach your goals, because so many people write them down. And I do believe in the power of bringing things to you and all those sorts of things. But if you don't actually do something, then it's just not going to happen. It's like wishing you win lotto and not buying a lotto ticket. You can have all the goals you want, but if you're not going to do something towards them, then you won't achieve them. But you are, and you've shown that over the last 3.5 years already.
Definitely, yeah.
That's really cool. So tell me a little bit about how your life has changed now that business is picking up. You're starting to get a bit more traction. How has your life changed now that you're 3.5 years down the track, got quite a bit more of experience under your belt? What's changed for you?
I think it's just I understand the market I'm in now. So I can tend to a lot more detail. I've gauged what I'm doing. Like I'm actually really happy with how slow things have gone for me. Just because I understand that it does take time to get good at things. Within the last 2.5 years, I've mastered my craft. I've cleaned a lot of shoes at like 3 o'clock in the morning, just mastering my craft. And I understand that, because if all this was to happen a year ago or a year and a half ago, I'll probably fold, and I probably wouldn't be in the mental or have the mental fortitude to carry on with what I'm doing, because I guess within business and everything, most of it's all mental. So now I've got my systems in place with cleaning, with how we're going to do the services, and like I'm real confident that the system is solid and we're ready to go commercial. So yeah, I think how everything's changed now. I'm a lot more confident in what I'm doing, and obviously with my with me being where I want to be mentally, and with faith as well. And now obviously with the help that Manaki's offered, the mentorship, you and Ali as well. Like this, there's so much guidance as well. So before I was just a workhorse, I was just chipping away at it. But I think that's what I needed to do as well, to get to the opportunities I have in front of me now. And I guess now it's more just shaping it, and almost like focusing on certain things, like more precision, rather than just working hard like reckless. Because I was a bit reckless before. I was just working hard and going hard at it, because that's just me. Like once I commit to something, I'm going to go hard at it. But I guess now it's more fine-tuning things and getting things right, and making sure we do things properly, to go commercial and go as big as we want to get and achieve all our goals. Yeah, looking for the guidance. Yeah,
it's really good that you've taken the time to work through those processes and to get really good at your craft, like to master it. Because sometimes you can go out there with a product or a service that's a little bit half-assed and get a whole bunch of clients, and then go, oh, actually couldn't really handle that. And a lot of businesses do that. Sometimes they have to, because they're just thinking, oh well, actually I just need to make a buck, and if I don't make a buck, then I can't pay the bills and put the food on the table. So sometimes it happens. But it's great then that you're now in a position where you know that you can scale your business, and you've got the support around you that can help you to show you how to do that in a sustainable way. So it's really
and I guess like I told Vili that does all the media stuff with us. So Vili's here, and his little brother Leslie as well is working with us. And I think the thing I was saying to them is that quality will always be at the forefront of everything we do. We want everything to the highest standard. We are the first professional sneaker cleaning service in New Zealand, and we're going to be the best and stay the best. And the only way we can do that is by being at the top of the service and perfecting everything we do. Like every shoe we get in from now on will be at the best quality we can possibly produce. And I guess that needs to stay at the forefront of everything. Like I'd rather clean 20 pairs a week and do a really, really good job than clean 40 pairs a week and not do that well. So
Yeah,
I guess that's the biggest thing is quality. Yeah.
Now, I know one of your other goals is also to start your own plumbing business. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So so when I decided to leave school, kind of funny actually. What I did is, like, I kind of knew I couldn't go to uni, or I needed to work to help out at home and everything. So I was the eldest boy. There were like 12 of us living at the house at the time. So I knew I needed to work. So what I actually did is I typed into Google ways to make 100K without a degree. Like
Awesome.
that's literally what I typed in on Google. And this was at the career center at school as well. So I typed in how to make 100K because to me that was the standard. Like I needed to make at least 100K without a degree, so I didn't have to go to school. And literally one of the first things that popped up was plumbing. So then I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But luckily enough that I actually went into it, and I loved it. Because usually when you're chasing money, I know that things don't usually work out if you're doing it for the money. But I went into plumbing. I loved it. I've had a good mentor, Ritz, probably the best in the game, skills-wise. Yeah, and I think I was telling the boys from Auckland City Basketball just earlier today that I was never really good at anything. Like nothing ever really came naturally to me. I did all right at school and everything, but I worked really hard. Like we played a bit of rugby, but I had to work really hard to get into the teams. But when I started plumbing, it was something that came naturally. Yeah, it was. I'd learned to love it. The type of work we're doing with the couple work and everything I love, and I just felt like it came naturally. So definitely I believe plumbing is my calling. That is where I want to be and start a plumbing company. Sneaker clean is a passion of mine, with with sneakers and everything. It's something that I love to do. But while I was plumbing, I definitely believe that's my calling, and that's where I am. I'm meant to be in order to help people. So that's why I want to start a company. I want to look after all the people in my area and do jobs around Mangere and not rip people off. Yeah, no one needs to make $120 an hour to fix a tap.
And I'm sure there's a story in there somewhere about how you feel like your family got ripped off or something by a plumber at some stage.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen on my Instagram or something, but my family actually did. My auntie's house, they renovated, and 3 years later they had to do the whole bathroom again. It was pretty bad. I just completed their bathroom before lockdown as well. So so they I think it was 2017 we got it renovated, and they kind of like they had a few leaks inside the walls, and then it was rotting, and so it was easily $30,000 worth of damage. But luckily I'm plumbing now, so it was nowhere near that. Yeah.
So before we finish up, Prescott, just Christian, something like looking back on your journey over the last 3.5 years, what is it that you want people to learn from your journey?
I guess it's just trusting the process. Like that's something I always say to my friends, or I always say to like people around me, or like when things aren't going so well, like that's gonna happen. But what you got to remember is that when you're faced with adversity, on the other side, there's a lot of wins. Yeah. Not wins for, like, it doesn't have to be financial or anything, but like winning mentally is probably the biggest thing you can probably take, because when you win mentally, you can apply that to all areas of your life.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing for me is just trusting in what you're doing. if you believe in what you're doing, if you're bought into it yourself, like I've bought into everything I'm doing, like everything I've committed my time with. I believe 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, so I reckon just trust the process. Like even there's a whole lot of noise other people are saying that if you believe yourself and my faith, like I put a lot of things. I talk to God quite a bit, and once I believe that that's what I'm meant to do, then I just stick at it, and hopefully it works out. But if you're facing God, then it should always work out.
And I guess also, you know, any times that you're going through those challenges, like you said, when you're faced with adversity, there's a win on the other side. So it's just how you perceive the challenges that you have faced along the way,
Mm.
because that's what's going to help to grow you, and you're going to become even stronger. And clearly, that's what's happened with you. All the adversity you've gone through in your life, the, you know, catching two modes of transport to get to school every day since the age of 13, your family, you know, challenges and, you know, and the likes have really
Mm.
grown you into the strong individual that you are, which, yeah, builds character and builds faith and trust. And yeah, I think those are really good qualities. And yeah,
Yeah, because well, before all this happened, during last COVID, I can easily say that was the toughest period of my life, mentally, emotionally. Um, Easily, that was probably the hardest part of my life. Um, and once getting up, I understood that like this, it was just a phase. It's seasonal. It's not going to be here forever. But I think pulling myself out of that and then to see all this come in, come into play. I started with Tangata Pasifika calling and interviews and podcasts and people reaching out, and yeah, the last 2 months has just been a dream. But that's almost 3.5 years worth of hard work. Just finally starting to see things now. So I guess yeah, and I understand that all the hard work I've done before, and I'm just seeing it now. So that I understand that like the work's just starting. Of people thought I was working hard before. They haven't seen anything yet.
yeah, that's cool. And like I said to you before we came live today, you know, all of the support that you're getting and the love that you're getting
Mm.
from, you know, your friends and your family and your followers and you know, Tangata Pacific, all of these people that are reaching out to you now, is only becoming because of everything that you've already put out into the world. So, you know, what goes around comes around. And if people didn't think that you weren't adding value to them or to other people, then they wouldn't give you the time of day that they are. So clearly, you know, they really value you, and you've obviously given lots of value out. So yeah, soak it all in. You obviously deserve it. Give yourself a big pat on the back, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Cheers, Mindy. Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure talking to you tonight, Christian. Thank you so much for your time. I feel like we could probably talk forever, but I better not keep everybody any longer than
I hope
our 30 minutes.
everyone
So.
enjoyed it as I did.
Absolutely. So now just sneaker clean underscore NZ.
Yeah,
That's right.
on
Hey,
Instagram.
on
Yeah.
Instagram. So if it's not underscore NZ, then it's not Christian. So sneaker clean underscore NZ is where you can follow him on Instagram. And he has a Facebook page too. And if you need your sneakers cleaned, go and check out what he's done on Instagram, because yeah, like seriously, the pictures, I'm like looking at them thinking that he must have gone and bought out a brand new pair of shoes and taken a photo of them, until I've realized that the shoes are actually really expensive and he probably can't really afford yet to buy all of those shoes. So it probably is the real deal. And I know my kids are harping on about getting their shoes cleaned too, so I'll have to sort out that at some stage as well. So thank you again, Christian, for jumping on board. Yeah, and we enjoy working with you, and we look forward to seeing the future success of Sneaker Clean NZ, and also Prescott Plumbing soon to come.
That's it. Cheers. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. All right, so everyone, tomorrow night I'm speaking to Adrian from the Gentry, another Māori fella who during lockdown, or just after our first lockdown, opened up his second barbershop and was really thriving. And you may have seen him on the breakfast show just recently talking about mental health and the impact that the second lockdown has had on him, which we know it's had on many people. So tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. When I talk to Adrian. But thanks again, Christian. Lovely to have you on board, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Cool.
Mā te wā whānau.
Thank you.